Solana hopes to attract creators with a $5 million fund for artists and musicians. So it's the Solana Foundation. They've partnered with streaming service Audius and NFT marketplace Metaplex to entice creators to start exploring the world of Web3. So it's important to note that no creators have been onboarded yet, but there is $5 million at stake, and the amount of money and the amount of support you get varies project to project. So this is really interesting. We've spoken about a lot of use cases for Web3 and creators on this show before. Here we have Solana trying to entice creators with money, the best way to entice anyone, I think, to explore the glories of Web3. Ben, I'll pass it right on down to you since I just cut you off for your take on this story.
No, the only thing I was going to mention is that regard in terms of like the cross-chain feature and stuff, like Will, like you were kind of alluding to, like we should note that like Thorchain is a DeFi platform, but is also involved in like trying to move assets cross-chain and was a big part of that sort of conversation. And yet it's undergoing hacks. So, while that's promising, there's still a long way and a lot of pitfalls to go. But in relation to Solana, I think this is very much a case of like, let's build it and see if they'll come. Because right now there are currently no creators onboarded onto this, which I thought was of note. And certainly, this kind of predates them actually onboarding it. But we'll see. It's a sizable pot of money. I think, again, as you mentioned, Jen, like money is the incentive here. And like, particularly in a world where like musicians and artists and others are kind of getting cut out of a lot of sort of monolithic, like the Spotifys of the world, there seems to be opportunity for them to be compensated. We see like people ditching record labels because that was a whole corrupt industry for a long time that cut artists out and bought the rights to their music and all these other things. So there seems to be an offering here. I've yet to see a place that does it super well. Like there's been a lot of projects that have tried to. So we'll see if this is the one. And in relation to like L2 solutions, I think that will make it more interesting in terms of things like microtransactions and the like.
Just to grab that really quick, I don't. This $5 million is not that much. Like, how much did people raise?
I will.
In his
Demo me
$69 million
for
one
maybe.
NFT. For artists, perhaps, yeah.
Artists
but like,
are starving.
Well, Solana raised $314 million in June for their company to get to scale out the project. So I'm not saying Solana's like, I'm not saying anything about them, but it's like not a big pot of money compared to what we've seen in the NFT space. So that doesn't seem very alluring in and of itself. Also interesting to see Audius kind of being looped in here. As far as I understood it, they were very pro Ethereum. So I'm wondering if there's like a little splintering there, or maybe I'm just entirely wrong. Zach can get me on that.
They've been building a lot of their tech stack on Solana. I think in like the last 6 months or so. So they started off on Ethereum, but then they're like, hey, we can do a lot of this stuff on Solana. It's going to be faster. It's going to be cheaper. It's going to serve our needs better. And I think it goes to what you were saying before, Will. It's like, I'm of the view that if Ethereum captured DeFi, that would be plenty, right? There are other views there. There are views that it should be DeFi and more. But I think these chains might find ways to specialize, and it's interesting to see, even though it is a small financial commitment, it's interesting to see these programs looking to support that activity, right? Hey, musician, hey, SoundCloud star, we want to help you monetize your direct relationship with your fans, and we can give you a little bit of money and a little bit of tech help. And we think we can make this work for you on the Solana blockchain as opposed to some other network. So to me, that's sort of the big picture. And I think it's going to be interesting to see, again, if anyone takes them up on it, it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this experiment. Jen, what do you got?
Yeah, we talk about crypto and blockchain solutions for non-crypto and blockchain native people a lot, especially when we talk about marketplaces for creators and when we talk about NFTs. And Audius has really dabbled in that with their offering for musicians, allowing them a way to display their NFTs to their non-crypto native fans. I want to ask Anna, what do you think it's going to take to get non-crypto people to start using these platforms to interact with their favorite artists and even non-crypto artists?
Well, that's the trickiest question, I guess, because it's not enough to just get the creators to get there. You need their audience to go there for some reason, and that audience doesn't care about blockchains or crypto that much. I guess they care if it's if it's convenient and cool thing to use, and if they really enjoy the experience of listening or watching their artists on that platform. So the user experience will be the key, I guess, and that's something not the artists, but the developers who will be working on those dApps on Solana have to think about. I also wonder if the NFT art market is such a huge thing still. Is it looks kind of quiet to me recently, but maybe I'm wrong.